After the Timeout podcast, hosted by Todd Zazadil and John Palicki, two high school head coaches talking basketball on the court, off the court, and anything in between.
On today's episode of the After the Timeout podcast, we sit down with Coach Terry head boys basketball coach at Michele Clark High School in Chicago. Prior to being head coach at Michele Clark, Coach Head was head coach at Foreman High School in Chicago. We talked to Coach Head about Chicago Public League basketball, building a program, working through COVID, and promoting your players through high school and AAU basketball. Enjoy the show.
Great to have you on. We've been starting pretty much everyone like this so far, just because of the times we're in. Talking about what kind of things you've been doing with your high school program. Obviously, at least for me, it was about a year before I even got to coach. We played a couple games now. So what have you been doing to stay connected to your guys, help build your program, and continue to prepare, especially now that we're allowed to play a little ball here.
Hey, good morning, John and Todd again. I always want to start off before I get to talking about basketball and anything. I just want to thank God, who's the head of my life, and I also want to thank you guys for giving me this opportunity. I'm humbled and appreciative of this moment. And then to answer that question, at the beginning, it was really difficult. In my mind, I was thinking, COVID, this to be over with in like 3 or 4 weeks. We'll be back to rolling and, get to do some AAU stuff. And then we get to do summer ball in June. And then I was like, man, they not letting us go back to school. This might be serious. And so I was just like calling my guys. I stay in communication with my guys a lot. Then I started doing the Zoom meetings with the guys, just to keep them up, keep their spirits up, see how they're doing. And I think the most difficult part was for my seniors because we still hadn't gotten them in school yet. So I was like constantly calling, and we couldn't go in the building. We couldn't go to school. So I think the biggest thing for me was like trying to do everything over the phone by getting the guys in school. And I had 4 seniors I had to get in school. So that was like, I was scrambling with that. So COVID, man, it's been, I'm not gonna lie, it's been difficult with my kids in the city. And I'm probably gonna speak for a lot of kids in Chicago, In that time, I would say in June when we were really shut down. When are we gonna shut down, complete shutdown? Like in June, right?
It was around then, yeah. It was around June.
Yep.
Yeah, man, I had got a call from one of my players' moms. And she said, Coach Ed, they shot and killed my husband. And I'm like, what? And all she says, what am I gonna do with my baby? And that's one of our best players. His name is Darius. I can name him, I guess that's not bad. His name is Darius Perham. He's been a varsity player since he walked through the door at Michele Clark. And man, that happened. I was like, oh my God. So my wife and my brother, we was talking. They were like, man, I know I had to go see him. But I hadn't been out the house.
Yeah.
I hadn't been out the house in almost 20 some days, So I said, Lord, please guide me and protect me. So my assistant and I went over there, man. I had gloves on, like plastic, doctor gloves. I had plastic doctor gloves on. I had 2 masks on my face, kept my hat. I had a hat, on, and I zipped up very well, and I stayed like that in his house. And when I walked into his house, man, he just hugged me. He was crying on my shoulder. And I'm like, man, we love you. You're gonna be okay. And when I mean his dad was everything, his dad came to all his games. This kid been playing since 7th grade, so through our AAU program. So his dad in all his games, and I would always have him in the background doing in the crowd saying, hey, put something on it. And that meant when you shoot your jump shot to put a lift on your shot.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay. So I would I say, hey, we call him Knocker. Hey, Knocker, put something on it. And he'll just bust 2 or 3. We played Crane, man. I said, put something on the kid. He hit 2 bickles. Boom, boom. he looking at me. I'm like, that feel good though. You know what I mean? So I know that was a real bad moment. I know we have to support him. And then you want to hear something crazy. 7 days later, during the pandemic, his brother was shot and killed behind their house. I said, oh my God. So, once again, I had to go over there, man. And they had a double. So the mom had to bury her husband and her son in less than 10 days. And so just to let you know, man, I keep close tabs on Darius. Man, man, I can't tell you all the stuff that I did, so I probably get fired or,
we'll keep that off air.
Yeah. But it was, I mean, one thing about it, man, I try to go above and beyond, my players and our students at Michele Clark, man. I'm gonna tell you, man, nobody, I don't know how like suburban communities do it or Catholic schools. Like when the kids started going back to school, I know the Catholic schools, they was gonna be in. And for me, I'm the restorative practice dean for the junior class at Michele Clark. And I had those kids since they were freshmen. So, we built relationships. And some of the kids, man, it's crazy. I had one young lady, I'm not going to name her name. She was going from house to house, trying to make sure she logged in, honor roll student, trying to go house to house, just to make sure she got her work done. And she'll get into it with her cousin or something like that, and then she'll have to go to another family member's house. And she was trying to make it that way. You had kids at Clark, they were using, getting permission to use their neighbor's Wi-Fi so they can log in. We had parents that don't, all they do is come pick the laptop up from the school and they wouldn't come and do it. So we had to, risk our lives going down, getting dressed, make sure you maxed up, make sure you got gloves on, social distancing, dropping off laptops at different homes because, man, I don't want to see our kids fail at all, and that's the thing. That's my mission now. That's my mission. And I think, especially with me being from the West Side of Chicago, growing up in the Austin area, I don't know, you grew up, John, you grew up, Todd. Did you guys have a park that you went to every day?
Yeah, there was parks.
Yeah, parks.
So on what we do, we represent who you are from what park you played at.
Mm-hmm.
So on the West Side, I'm an Austin Town Hall kid because I play ball at Austin Town Hall every day. Then you got Columbus. I'm a Columbus Park kid. Or I'm a Garfield Park kid. Or I'm a Y boy. So if you play ball every day, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
At that park. So I grew up on Central and Lake, and I'm an Austin Town Hall kid. But we play ball in different areas. So just growing up in that whole community in the Austin area, and then being able to go back and coach in the area that you grew up in, and where you snuck in a gym and played ball, it feels so good. Because I can relate to those kids.
So, Coach, that leads perfectly into the next question we wanted to talk about with you is, what are the greatest challenges to not only obviously teaching and coaching, but what are the greatest challenges to working in Chicago public schools and coaching in the Chicago Public League? But then, what are also the greatest rewards for you?
I like to talk about the positive first. Man, coaching in Chicago Public League, it's amazing. At the same time, I want to testify for like probably every CPS coach. I can say this, I'll put it in a nutshell. In CPS, you got to be willing to be more than a basketball coach. You're not just going to be able to walk in, go to practice, and go home. You know what I mean? If you want to be good, because you're going to have to deal with, little Ray, you're going to have to deal with Sean, you're going to have to deal with Pookie. Pookie probably didn't eat the night before, but it's amazing. I'm telling you, man, once you get a relationship with your guys and they know that you love them, they know that I love them, and they trust me, man, they will play their ass off for you, go through a brick wall for you. And I had an opportunity to do both sides, through the grace of God, man, through my opportunities and everything, coaching basketball. Man, that CPS, it's an adrenaline rush, man. You playing, man, you playing like I'm just staying with Michele Clark. We playing Wells at Wells, and that game was on fire. I mean, they got a small gym, it's packed, it's cracking in the gym, and you sweating, you yelling, let's go, let's go. And the energy, you know what I mean? You got the music blasting, the kids going crazy, juking and dancing all over the place. Somebody dunked the basketball. You ever seen that in New York? When somebody dunked the basketball, they got to stop the play and everything.
Yeah.
Man, that kind of stuff happened in Chicago basketball, man. And it's amazing. You know what I mean? That's the positive, that's the energy part of it. So the back part is, man, like I said, you have to be willing to be more than a basketball coach. You have to say, okay, man, these are my kids. You know, you have to take on ownership of basically everything that they do. And you got to teach them and guide them. You know, you'll be blessed. I have 15 guys on my team this year. We got 3 seniors and 3 seniors and 12 juniors. I know I probably have one kid with a mother and father at home. Just that alone right there is letting you know you have to be that father figure, mentor, coach, uncle, brother. You know what I mean? Because they don't know. You got to teach everything about man. Man, you got to teach guys how to, what socks to wear. I can give you so many examples of being that mentor or being that more than the coach. The backdraw is you have to be, this is the backdraw base. You have to be willing to, man, put your work hat on and go to work every day knowing you here to change somebody's life. And it's more than basketball. It's not about basketball. Can I give you an example?
Yeah.
At Clark, I'm gonna give you I'll give you an example. Right. So we when I was coaching at Foreman, we're about to play Evanston. Okay. I think it was a non-con game or a regional, I can't remember, but about to play Evanston. And so, you know, we get on the bus, we get there, we walk in the gym, and you smell popcorn cooking. I'm like, oh, okay, they got a concession stand. Then you look around, you see the janitors wiping the bleachers down, sweeping the floor, wiping the backboards, rolling out the scores tape. I'm like, okay, that's good. And then you see the coach just walk right past, I forgot who was coaching at the time. He just walked right past me with his briefcase and sat down. I told my assistant coach, I said, hey, man, you see this? I said, boy, I wish we could do that at Foreman or at Clark. So a basketball game at Michele Clark, when I was at Foreman, it started off, if we playing Friday, you better hit Sam's Club Thursday morning or Thursday before you go home because you got to go buy the hot dogs, the candy, everything to make sure we have concessions to raise money for your program. Okay. Then you gotta go in the gym, sweep, clean up because you know they had gym class. And then you know in gym they gonna have somebody drinking red pop and now laters and everything. So you gotta clean all that stuff up, you know. Then you set the gym up, sweep and mop. Then you gotta go get your uniforms. Then the kids by that time the kids out of school. You got to have a strong captain to make sure, hey, everybody goes, make sure everybody sit down, or we doing pregame at 3:30. So, you know, your captain got to make sure everybody in the gym, you know, then, you know, me and my assistant are basically running around that entire day. You got to make sure you got somebody to cover your door. We're going to do the scores table, make sure that's already set up, make sure the books. Then you got to make sure you get your freshman captain because he's going to do the video recorder for you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I just think the backdraw is, man, you know, you got support. Your administration is, man, my administration is amazing. My principal, my athletic director, my coaches, it's important and they're great. It's just like you don't have enough help.
Yeah.
You don't have enough. See, a lot of times, like in the suburbs, what I realized in suburbs of Catholic League, they have parents that come out and volunteer to do all this stuff that we do. But the reason why we have parents, you know, single mom, she got to work,
Mm-hmm.
during that day. She might not get to the game. Man, a lot of our parents didn't watch their kids play,
No,
So
definitely.
that's the thing. So what are we going to do? We're not going to cry. You're not going to say, we're not going to have no concession. Hell no, we're going to do everything we got to do. You just got to plan your day. I'm not going to lie to y'all. We had a big game. I think we were playing, oh, wow, who was last year's big game that we played at home? So we played Proviso West, and it was a non-con game, and that was our senior night. So that's what it was. Yeah, senior night. So, senior night, you got to have a big day for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
We give out those big jerseys. And so that day, it was like, man, I had to go and make sure we had the place for the parents to, after the game, to have a meal. Because we have a whole, like, my wife, she'll probably make a big pasta, and we'll go get some chicken and all that stuff and have dinner after the game for senior night. But you should have seen me, man. I was so tired before the game, so stressed out from running around trying to make sure everything was done. I said, man, y'all, I told the kids, man, I looked at my captain's name was Kobe Week. I said, Week, man, you got to go and just coach this one, man. Coach you from the court, man. I'm tired. Me and my sisters literally running around, man, just trying to make sure everything is perfect. And we do that because you want your kids to feel special. You know what I mean? When kids play, I want them to feel like, man, I played for Michele Clark. I played for T. Head. And, man, he took care of us. He took care of me. And that's when I give you an example. When I talked to Mike McCall, I seen him on Facebook and Twitter. He's in the UK, and he hit a fadeaway 3-point shot to win the game. And so I'm like, damn, when did this dude start making these trick shots? So I called him, and I'm like, dude, when did you start making them trick shots? We started laughing and everything. But after the conversation, the biggest thing, he was like, man, I love you, Coach Head. And I'm like, man, I say, MC, I love you too, man. Nothing but love and respect. And all my players, they probably can't stand my ass while they're playing for me. But I know at the end of the day, they know I love them because I tell them, hey, man, I love you, man. I love you. You're my guy. I love you. So that's public league basketball, man. You got to be ready. If you're not doing that, you're not going to have a good team or not good team, good program.
Mm-hmm.
And we do that from the freshmen all the way up to the seniors. Everybody's try to treat everybody special. But they got a responsibility too. We ask them, man, to keep man, you're not playing no D's or F's. No pass, no play. Be respectful. Pull your pants up. Basically just, man, trying to teach, man. In a nutshell, we're trying to teach boys to be men. So you come in Michele Clark, you come in at Michele Clark as a boy, you're going to leave there as a man. And if you don't leave there as a man, you chose not to follow directions, be disciplined, or have any order. That's what I like to say about that.
So obviously you just talked about it, about caring for not only your students but your athletes, and so many of your athletes and students have gone on to play ball in college, pro, but not only that, just get an education. And it's how you just talked about it, making that a priority. What are those conversations with your players like? How do you start that process of kind of developing and helping them grow?
Hey, Todd, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm straight up and transparent, and I'm no bullshit. I tell them exactly like this. I don't sugarfoot. I don't joke around. Hey, look, man, if you plan on playing here, you cannot play with D's or F's. That's one thing. And we are in the business of going to college. If you're not trying to go to college and use basketball as your vessel to get there, there's many other options. I want you, man. So this is how I do it. I start off, I know my kids because majority of them have been playing for me since they were younger. Or if we get a kid coming out of 8th grade or a freshman that walk in the building, hey, you got to get on our page. You have your own idea. You cannot have your own idea playing at Michele Clark. And the biggest thing is education. If you're not trying to be great in the classroom, because you're not great in the classroom, you're not going to be great on the floor. So if you're not trying to be great in the classroom, I can't use you. And man, we do grade checks we do grade checks every week. So here's our form. This is my form. I'm gonna share this. Monday, that we start school after Labor Day. So that week, that Tuesday we start school, that's the kids' week. That second week, everybody know that's juniors, the seniors, juniors, and sophomores know, okay, we have to meet after school that Monday to talk about study hall and grade checks. So that Monday, that week is theirs. That following week, we have study hall at 3:30. And at the study hall, you got to have we get that grade check. We study the study hall every day. So a study hall / tutor. Anybody that's like all my honor roll students, they getting their schoolwork done or they helping out somebody else on the team. The kids that are not, I know they're not that strong academically. I've already emailed the teachers, hey, I know this student, he's on the basketball team. We have study hall every day after school at 3:30. Will he be allowed to come to your class and get some extra work? Or can we keep him up? Can you keep me abreast on what he's doing? Okay. And then what we do grade checks starting that second week of school. So some coaches like to wait until that 5 weeks. Some coaches like to wait till that first quarter. Now I'm hitting you the second week of school. And I tell them, hey, I'm looking for volunteers. This is not mandatory. You don't have to do it, but you're not gonna play. You don't come to study. I gotta work. Okay, you study. You schedule everything around this. So because you can't work and play ball. It's hard if you're trying to do something. You understand what I'm saying? My right, coaches, you know how it is. So if they get a job, I work with some of the guys. If they get in the job, hey man, okay, you been in study hall at 3:30. They got to be at work at 5. I'll let you leave at 3. I'll let you leave at 4:30. I got to work downtown. You better Uber. So that's the thing, man. And if they don't have the grades, I'll never forget, man. My principal walked in, and the freshmen always have a hard time with that because they still learning. You know what I mean? And he looked and he's like, man, why you got 6 boys over there in dress clothes and why they not dressed? I said, man, they got a D. He said, Head. I said, man, I'm not playing with them. I don't because if you're a freshman and you failing, you're gonna be failing as a senior. You're not gonna graduate. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And it is real simple that with the freshmen, man, we don't fail. I don't cut nobody from the freshmen. I never cut a kid because everything that we do for us discipline-wise, they can't handle. They're gonna put themselves. So by the time you get to junior, senior year, it's a whole. It's your life. It's a way of your life. You know what I'm saying? It's a way of life. So you already know. So, and we all know the biggest thing is getting the grades. Man, you don't have to go to New Trier or Northside College Prep or St. Ignatius, Lane Tech. Man, Northwestern gonna recruit Michele Clark like they recruit them schools. Mm-hmm. It's about having the credentials to get in there. And that's what we did at Foreman. Man, I would tell kids, man, I would have parents, I'm gonna go to Von Steuben, I'm gonna go to Lane Tech. Why? You can come to a school that's less, this is so true. You can go to a school, and I use this analogy, you can be the big fish in a little pond or a little fish in the big pond. What I mean by that, man, you go to a school where there's 200 kids and they all, high academic, that's gonna lessen your chances to go to school. I'm just talking about academic scholarship. You come to a school like a Foreman or we only got 500 students at Clark, and you the big fish in a little pond. Like I get my big boy Suleiman, he got a 4.2 GPA, 12 almost 15 hours of college credits in our dual credit program. Come on, man, National Honor Society. He good enough to go to Northwestern, just like Tom is from New Trier. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? But in my community, man, I'm just tired of watching kids walk around with nothing to do. You play for Michele Clark, play for Terry Head and his assistant coaches and his guys. If you didn't go to college just because you didn't want to. We sit and talk to them about, man, make sure you have your social media page clean. Don't have nothing negative, man. If you on Instagram or Twitter hugged up with a girl, take it down. Am I right, Coach?
Yes,
Take
sir.
it
You are
down
definitely right.
because
You're
Yes,
definitely right.
sir.
yeah, man, and clean all that stuff up, man. And like I said, if you're not trying to go to college, man, I really don't want to coach. You're wasting my time. And I mean that because it's other ways of being successful. You don't have to go to college. You can pick up a trade. You can trade school. Them guys make millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying, man, the kids in our community, in the Black community, it's our job as a coach, mentor, educator. It's our job to push them along. And I just use basketball. Man, I'll say this all the time. If the kids was in love with swimming, tennis, if they was in love with skiing, I would be a ski coach. I would be a swim coach. Anything that we can get kids out the hood, I'm with it.
So I
want to do it.
I think that leads into something you and I had talked about that we wanted to talk about was, obviously promoting your own kids. So, you hold the showcases for athletes all over the city, you have
Yes.
some coming up. So, first of all, how did you build those up? And then, what are some challenges to running those?
I'll talk about how I built it up and then remind me to talk about the challenges.
Got it.
So how I built it up, man, I was the head coach at Foreman. And I know forgetting 2010, that's when we had, Mike McCall and all those guys playing for us. And, a lot of coaches brag about the guys that, like, you don't have to brag about Jabari Parker going to college. He was cold. He had game. So it wasn't hard for me to say, oh, man, we got Mike McCall in college, Levante Doherty, Eddie Denard, Tommy Wolf. Them guys had game. So T-Head didn't do nothing but just, man, put the ball in the hole, Man, I never forget that team, man. We didn't run no plays, man. I ain't got time, man. Y'all go to work, man. But make a long story short, I had 9 other guys that had to get in school off that team. So I said, you know what I'm going to do, man? I'm going to call these coaches to come out, and I'm going to have a unsigned senior day. So I had like my 9, 10 seniors, and then I would have my good friend of mine was at Prosum, what's that boy? The coach is assistant coach. Head coach at Prosum. He brought 5. So you look up in the gym, and we had, I say, about 25 kids in there and about 8 coaches of junior college. I never forget, coach from Triton was over there, and coach from Daly and South Suburban. Pagadi, you guys know John Pagadi. He was in the gym, and it was a beautiful day. I didn't have, we didn't have the money to buy jerseys and T-shirts and everything. So after it got out that year that I did it, that second year, man, we had like 40-something, 50 kids. I'm like, okay. Then the third year, we couldn't host it at Michele at Foreman because it was too big. So I moved it to, I'm like, we had it so it was like my third or fourth year. So that fourth year we had it, that's when I got fired from Foreman. And I had it at Carmel High School in Mundelein. And I looked up at Mundelein, man, we had 100-some kids in the gym. I said, wow. And I'm not going to bash other coaches. A lot of coaches don't take responsibility of getting their kids in school. I think they think it's a parent's job, but I think it's all of our jobs to get them in school. And I think that's the most important thing. So after that year, man, we had to start charging the kids because, I had to pay for a gym rental, insurance, and then, you want to make it look really professional and nice. So that's when I got T-shirts, So we had each kid on the team, 10 kids on the team, and we had to purchase T-shirts. So I had to purchase T-shirts, and by the time you purchase T-shirts, the first year I spent $500 out of my pocket. My wife was so mad at me. I'm like, babe, I'm sorry, but I just want to have it to help the kids. So I'm like, I wasn't charging them. I think it was charging $100. So I went to $125, and I think I made like $300 because by the time you get done doing all the insurance and the uh, uh, insurance, gym rental, getting the t-shirts done, and paying the referees and everything, it's not a money grab. You know what I mean? And one coach asked me, was it a money grab? I'm like, no, why don't you come and see? And he's been back ever since. Every year he brings in kids. So the biggest thing is now it's grown into a really big event, and I'm really proud of it because it's solely based on helping kids get to school. And you should see me, John. You should see me, Todd. Man, junior college. If they say, "Hey, coach, who is that kid?" Because we have a package. So they say, "Coach, who is that kid?" I'm like, "You want to talk to him?" I will stop the game. Hey, stop the game. Come here, kid. Come on, let's go in this room, man. Coach want to talk to you, man. Hey, this is big. This is important to me, because I know, man, these kids need the help. They need the look. They need. A lot of parents don't even know what to do to get their kids in school. A lot of parents think, "Oh, I get an academic scholarship. My son's set." No, you're not. You get academic scholarship, you probably still got to pay for room and board, meals, clothes, cost of living. But if you could, man, John, thinking you could bounce that basketball and shoot the ball in the hoop, and somebody gonna pay your way to go to school, man, please, man. That's awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the awesome thing is just getting kids in there and getting them a look and helping coaches, building those relationships. And then the back thing is, man, a lot of kids can't afford it. So I probably scholarship half the damn camp and just say, come on anyway, because, man, I'm not going to turn no kid away. I'm going to help my kids, and I'm going to help coaches' kids that I know. Coaches, man, I'm going to try to help as many of these kids as possible make it. I had kids call me up that, we can't say recruiting because that's illegal in Chicago public school. So we say observing. This kid I was observing, and I can legally say I observe kids. I don't recruit kids. I was observing this kid, and he chose to go to another school. And I looked at my assistant coach. I said, "Well, coach, he'll be back." He said, "What you mean?" I said, "We do the camp March, the third weekend of March, whatever weekend it is. I'll see him in 4 years, man." He said, "Man," and we started laughing. And the kid called me up, "Hey, Coach Ed, man, can I?" I said, "Come on, man. I'm already ready for you. I got your number already. Here you go." I'm not gonna ever turn no kid away, man. When they, trying to help them, I'm not gonna ever do that because that's not how it should be. It should be all about, and this basketball and coaching is about helping, man, and that's what we should be doing.
All right, so I want to flip it now to maybe more on the court. You've obviously coached and seen so many tremendous basketball players. Besides their physical skills, right? Because guys, you can see physical skills. What makes those players different? Like, is it mindset? Is it work ethic? Is it motivation?
What we do it at Clark.
Just in general, like
In general,
what makes those guys the best players if you've had different besides their obvious physical skills?
You know what? The passion that you. Okay. You as what we try to do is bring everybody along, but you always know that one kid that's special gonna stand out. And when they stand out, you can't hold them back. When they stand out and they wanna be better than everybody else, I get out their way and do it and be that vessel for them. And what makes them special, man, is just they work ethic. And it's no lie about the game. You can't cheat it. I want to say this. I think you got two. I told one of my kids this the other day. They didn't believe me. Evan Taylor, he's playing at Lehigh right now for my AAU program. And I told him, I said, Evan, there's two type of games. There's two type of people with games out here. I said, you got Michael Jordan game. Well, Mike probably could take off Monday and Tuesday because he was so good. You know what I mean? But you got Kobe Bryant, who didn't take a day off. Kobe go shoot 5,000 before the game, and after the game go shoot 5, and then work out every day, in season, off season. Mike worked, but Kobe worked harder. So Mike had God-given talent, and Kobe had work talent when he was just working. You know what I mean? And I just look at that. So you're gonna have in high school, man, you're gonna have kids that's gonna stand out because they got that talent, they got that work ethic, they got the, the passion. Now I can say this, and I believe in this. This is like one of my mottos. Everybody can play basketball through discipline, hard work, and dedication. But are you gonna be great? If you want to be great, that means getting up in the morning at 6 a.m. going to shoot 500, shoot 1,000, or whatever your weakness is. You working on your weakness every time, where your weakness become your strength. So the guys that I've seen, man, and I've seen a lot. Like I'll give you an example. This I think this will hit in a nutshell. I'm gonna go to Mike McCall, man. Mike McCall, or okay. I go to you remember. I don't know if you guys remember Marquis Perry. Man, Marquis Perry played at Prosser High School, played at University of St. Louis, had a stint with he my godson, had a stint a little bit with the Spurs, and then he played overseas, so had like a nice 10, 15-year career overseas. Man, I watched him work. I used to train him, man, and he would just be in there going so hard, baseline to baseline with weight vests on in the hot sun at Columbus Park, going through chairs, doing ball dribbles, shooting and working out. And his regiment was in the morning, he was up at 6. He did this on his own. He was up at 6 working out. Then he'll go to school, then we'll work out after school. And then he somewhere playing ball at night. And I'm like, man, he like, T, I want it. And, he lived in the hood, so he made it. My other example is this guy. I couldn't believe this. Mike McCall, we would have 6 a.m. practice at Foreman High School. 6 a.m. practice. And then we would have another. So when we making when you trying to make a run, you try to double up. We only have one gym. So we would have 6 a.m. Like on the Monday, we play in the public league, you play during the week. So we would play like a Wednesday, Friday schedule. So I would practice that Monday at 6 a.m. And then we'll go right after school at 3:30 for an hour. You know what I mean? Then the kids can go home, get their rest, and then Tuesday we don't have that morning practice. You know what I'm saying? But we would do a double. Because we play back to back, Wednesday and Friday. So I never forget, man, Billy Garrett from DePaul, he called me. He was like, hey, man, I just seen Mike at Open Gym. I'm like, for real? So it's like 10 o'clock. And I know this cat been up all day because he live in Cabrini Green. So he 6 a.m. practice, then school all day, then practice after school. Then instead of you going home, you go play Open Gym at DePaul. He live right there. So I called him like, hey, Mike, I said, MC, where you coming from? Oh, here, I went and got me some run. I said, oh, okay. I said, man, when I hung up the phone, I said, man, this dude's gonna make it, man. He's gonna be great. And that's stuff you can't teach. I never forget Mike McCall, all the real ball players, they don't go to parties either. I remember Jabari Park, he never went to a party. Jabari Park used to play AAU with us when he was young, like 5th, 6th grade. And I would laugh because I'm like, come on, Jabari, you going outside? He's like, no, I want to get some shots up. I'm like, dude, you're in 6th grade, have some fun. My son, all the other kids up riding, everybody's running around. Not Jabari, he was over there shooting ball. So them guys them guys that's different, they're gonna do different things. And that's what I think. He's doing different things,
So let's kind of change it to your team now. Your teams are obviously known for playing with, a ton of energy and giving it everything they got. So, what do you teach your players, or how do you bring out that constant 100% effort, energy all the time that they're on the court?
Now, and I can't tell you all my secrets, but what I like to say, man, what we do is we I asked for that, and I demand it. And I'm not going to take no less than that. You know, I can't say this. I can share this with you. I ask my guys every year, hey, have you ever seen wildlife? And they're like, yeah. I said, man, you ever seen a zebra run away from a lion? And I'm like, yeah. I said, does the zebra ever win? And they're like, no. I said, man, that's how we got to play. Like a bunch of wild animals, a lion chasing zebras trying to eat.
Well, I'm stealing that now.
I'm serious. And if you don't want to do that, man, that bench is a great tool. I love that bench, man. That bench will help you coaching and tremendously, because I don't give a damn who you are. You, man, Donald Brown, Mike McCall, Levante Doherty, man, my kids this year, Reggie Bauer, Kobe Weekly, my AAU teams with all tremendous talented kids. It's the same way across the board. You're not playing hard. You out there tiptoeing and bullshitting. You not gonna get in this game. Man, I done had arguments with parents from AAU. I don't care. Quit. Kids at Clark and transfer. You don't, man, look, on your way to this building, you pass a bunch of schools. You know, I tell myself, man, on your way to Clark, if you're coming from out south, you passing a lot of schools. You coming up from north, you passing a lot of schools. You out west, it's a lot of choices out west. And here, we play hard. We play hard as hell. And if you're not willing to play hard as hell and sacrifice for your team, you're not going to be able to play. So you got to get kids to believe in each other, and they got to sacrifice for each other. You know, that's why I say I'm looking for volunteers, because you got to want to play hard. And you can get it out of them, you know. They'll give it to you, but it also, too, you got to show them you love them. No, you got to show them.
So, oh, go ahead, Coach. Sorry about that.
That's it.
So let's talk about, I guess, the building of your programs. You know, I did it at Foreman. You're doing it, Michele Clark. You know, from the ground up. What are some of the things, the foundations, the keys to build that, and start from the beginning, and then work up to where you've gotten your teams, and you're getting your teams right now?
When we was at Foreman, man, my old assistant, Carlos Enriquez, man, I never forget, we said, man, so we're going to build this into a powerhouse. One, I'm going to say you got to have awesome staff that's going to buy into what you want to do. They got to be on board. Your staff got to be on board. Your administration got to be on board. Your staff got to be on board. And they all got to understand. And then, you know, another person that's got to be on board is your wife. You're going to need a lot of hugs, a lot of kisses, and you better make sure you have a nice banking account to make her happy for the days you're not going to be at home. So real talk, that's it. You got to have that support staff. And then you just got to, you know, whatever you believe in, you got to do it. You know, I'm a believer in basketball is not a microwave oven. You can't go in the gym Monday and shoot 200 jump shots and think you're going to make 5 jump shots in the game on Wednesday. You have to be consistent, whatever you do. And whatever you believe in, and whatever your motto is, or whatever your, whatever you believe in, that's what you teach. You know, my thing has always been playing defense and teaching defense. And then, you know, adding some offense in and getting kids to play hard and getting kids to play with passion. But you have to teach that basic. It's teaching the basics. You know, I'm a big believer in triple threat. Coaches don't believe in triple threat no more. I'm old school. Triple threat. And I love motion. You know, screening, down screening, cross screening. I'm a believer in that because it's going to work, you know. To build a program, man, you have to start with your young guys. You got to have your best coach has to be your freshman coach. You know, you can't have your best coach with you on varsity. You have to be the varsity coach and teach. Your best coach has to be your freshman coach. When you walk in that building, you have to lay that foundation with your freshmen. Coach, I want them to learn, and I keep it real simple. On the freshman level, I want them to learn how to screen, play man-to-man defense. They can't play any zone on the freshman level, and no pressing. All half court. Half court D, man. You got to teach help side, denying, just all bait. You got to have a great, strong freshman coach. Then your sophomore coach, and see what we do in my program. My freshman coach, my sophomore coach, they all have to be in varsity practice. You see what I'm saying? So your freshman coach, your sophomore coach, all have to be in varsity practice. Now, your freshman coach, your sophomore coach, all have to sit on the varsity bench. You see what I'm saying? And I set my bench up where, man, I got myself. If you ever seen us play, we always got an empty seat. So I never sit at the front seat. I always sit like the third seat. And this is important. You know, I think I have my guy at the table in the public league. That first guy at the table, he got your own stat, you know, the scorebook. He has his own scorebook and keep his stats, and he watching the tape. Then I got a seat in between there. My assistant coach sit there. You see what I'm saying? That third seat is mine. Then I put my head sophomore coach because he's been coaching the kids that's coming up from Fossall, and he's been in varsity practice. He know what we looking for. He know the game plans. We talked about the game plan. And I put that guy right in the middle of the bench. You know what I mean? So when the kids coming out, they come sit with me. Then we rotate. He in their ear about what he got to do. Then the freshman coach is at the end. The freshman coach is watching that baselines. He looking for kids that's not in the. You know, the game's so fast now. You got to have these guys in place. You know what I mean? So my freshman coach is that back guy. He looking at the bigs. I might say you got to watch the bigs, or he might be watching our baselines. He watching both sides. You know what I mean? He also too he looking in the stands and see who scouting us, so we know what not to run and stuff like that. That's just a little joke, but that's how I break it down. But to build that program, man, you got to have I would say teach what you believe in. And at the beginning, it's not going to look good, and you have to be patient. So that's why I say basketball not a microwave oven. You got to be patient and willing to. You got to be willing to take your time and build it right. You know, the success I've been blessed to have, it don't happen overnight. It always happens like year 2, year 3. But that's the time frame of being in a successful program. But to stay in the program, you don't want to have one good year and fall off. You want to keep going. So that's why you got to start from the bottom up, not the top down.
So to kind of build into the next part, you know, you run your own AAU program, you know, and you and I had talked about, you know, you don't charge the kids. And so we've talked about a lot about your high school program. So kind of take us through your AAU program and the pillars you have for that and what makes it successful. And, you know, how can others use your model to help kids?
So when I started AAU, I started at Austin Town Hall coaching outside at the park. And it was awesome because it was like the old 5-star camps where I was outside and we teaching, you know, triple thread and footwork and jump stop and layups and, you know, proper form. It's like basic basketball. Then I started, and then one of the kids like, Coach, can you coach us at a tournament? I'm like, where? At Columbus Park. I said, yeah. So we didn't have no t-shirts. We didn't have nothing. So I went to the dollar store, bought some t-shirts, wrote their numbers on the back of them, and that's how I started coaching AAU basketball. We walked to all different parts, and we would walk to different parts. I had to be 20 years old, 19, 20, and we would walk to different parks and just play in the park tournaments. And from there, I never forget. It's a restaurant. You heard of Moy Oink? Remember the old Moy Oink
Oh yeah.
Meat House.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that was my first sponsor. I walked in the morning and I asked him to help me buy some T-shirts for the kids to play ball in. And he purchased like some T-shirts and shorts for the guys, like, it was like $200. Got letters on the back. We had a big Illinois sign on the back. Man, the kids was happy. We had fun. And then it went from there. You remember, you guys know John Hodell, right?
Oh yeah, the referee.
Yep.
Man, the
Yep.
great John Hodell. He called me up and said, "Hey, I heard you got a team on the West Side. Do you want to play in my tournament, the Solheim Center, the tournament?" Um, and I said, "Yeah." I never forget, man. I didn't have a car at the time. We all got on Chicago Avenue bus, drove down, got there, went and played. And it's my first time ever coaching in this environment where it was like college coaches, man. Lou Henson was sitting at the end of my bench. I seen everybody. I was like, man, I told our kids, I say, man, y'all better play y'all ass off, man. I said, I'm a focal championship. And like, we got you here, we got you, T here, we got you. And you remember Billy Keys? Billy Keys played at Manly High School.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He played at Lonnie Brown and those guys. Man, them kids, and we had them same Moore Oil t-shirts on with and we played against all these teams, they got all these fancy uniforms. I said, man, go to work. I didn't know much about basketball. I knew how to teach how to press. And I knew, playing in the Catholic League, I knew how to teach man to man, rotate and all that stuff. We was playing defense, scrapping. I'm like, go to work. It was so fun. And after that, I'm like, man, I got to do this for real. I said, I got to step my game up. So being in that environment helped me create Illinois Heat. I called this old guy, Milford Becker, used to run. You guys remember Milford Becker? I got his number, and I'm like, I want to run my own AAU pro. Well, I was working with Chris Head, too. I'm sorry. I started working with Chris Head with the Hawks, and he taught me a lot of, it's about everything, like running tournaments, being organized, and having your own program. And that's why I started from there. I started Illinois Heat. And when I started Illinois Heat, man, I learned, and we got to have nice uniforms. And so what I started doing is just like, man, I always call it put my hands together. And I put my begging hands on. And my wife would help me draft letters. And we would go around to different stores asking for donations. And then as I got older and I got wiser with it, we started making signs, like 3x5 or big signs saying they sponsored the team, taking pictures. And that's how I started. Then, it was called Chicago Heat. And I'll never forget this kid from Glenbard North, Ryan McNamara. His dad said, I want to play for you guys. And he said, look, I can help, we'll help get you some money and sponsor you. So I said, you know what? Then I started getting suburban kids playing for me. And I'm like, okay, this is not Chicago Heat because I got kids from Glenbard North. We got kids from St. Joe's. We got kids from all over. So I'm like, you know what? Let's call it Illinois Heat. So that following year, man, we called it Illinois Heat. And that's when I got, man, that's when, it used to just be one team. I only had one team, one 17U team. Then, you meet people, say they would love to coach with you, you know what I mean? Then we went from there. Then I had a 16 team. Then I had a 15 team. We still never got the fancy uniforms yet. I was still like t-shirts and shorts, but we had the same color shorts. And that's when we started going to like Milwaukee and Indiana. And it just blew up from there, man. Illinois Heat. I looked up one day, man, and and we were on our way to Columbus, Ohio to play at a big time tournament by Jerry Watson. And I was so blessed and I was so happy, man. We had 2 coach buses with 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, all the way up to 17U AAU basketball program. And I was like, man, this is awesome. It was organized. And then what we do, by that time now, we turn to be non-for-profit, soliciting, asking for donations. And what I mean by excuse me, what I mean by don't charge, we not charging, and I'm not knocking, the teams that charge $1,800, $2,000. I'm not knocking that. The kids that we servicing, man, they don't have that. The kids that I have from the West Side and the kids that we have that play with Illinois Heat, they can't afford $1,800. You know, so that's why I take on the responsibility of, man, going out, hosting events, and asking for donations. It was funny because I just, I got a basketball mom. Her name is LaDonna Stokes, and she helped. One thing my parents do and my wife do, they have to keep me organized because me, I hate doing paperwork. I hate doing like the office stuff. I just want to coach basketball. You know what I mean? So, you gotta have gotta have support that way and help. But we already started. It's January. We already started sending out letters and my texts and emails asking for our donations. And so instead of the kids having to pay $1,800, they might end up paying $200. But we still, and that's to me, that's not charging because
Mm-hmm.
everything we do, man, the kids gonna play, man, they gonna get like 8, 9 tournaments. Then we gonna travel. We work out every day because we use Michele Clark to, work out and train. Or we'll use the Boys and Girls Club to work out and train. And they do that, they don't charge for general. That's how I can keep everything down. Whoever's gonna be willing to help out what we're trying to do, and that's basically get kids in college. It's not about getting seen, it's about making sure they get kids in college. Um, um, that's who I use, you know what I mean? Um, and that's how I keep the costs down. So I go like John, I might call you and say, I need Red's gym, man. Can we work out in there? Maybe Tuesdays and Thursdays, you know what I mean? From 6 to 7:30, then we got tax, we got the tax exempt and all that. But that's what we do, man. And we just take it. We've been blessed right now to be on the Adidas Gauntlet. So excited about that. Been doing Adidas Gauntlet now the last, man, like 7 years. You know what I mean? Amazing platform, to help kids get in college. And I think the last class we had, the last class, what I did last year, I just used all Michele Clark kids. So I just used my contacted days that state allows us to play. And I took those and I break them up. So we only get 25 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So 25 days we get, I will be off a week. And I took some of those and I took some of that time and put it in July. So we were able to go to Alabama and play. And I was really proud because, a lot of high school coaches not going to take their high school team and play against AAU teams on Adidas Gauntlet. You know what I mean? But I'm like this, man. If you're gonna be great, you gotta have. In order to be anybody that's done anything great, they had a lot of failures. You know what I mean? So we can sacrifice getting beat up in Alabama losing by 50 and 60 points. You know what I'm saying? But in November, December, you're gonna be the ones kicking some butt. And I did that because I wanted to. This my last year's team was my Michele Clark kids. We took our high school kids and just we only played in June. We played in Ridgewood. I only used 15 contact days, so I had like 10 left, and I just took them to Alabama, Milwaukee, Alabama, and just to play AU teams. And that experience helped my kids. You know what I mean? So that's been my formula too, like building the high school program. Man, you try to keep your kids playing together as much as you can. But man, I love the AU scene, man. The one kid I was telling you about, Evan Taylor, man, he's a really great kid. Played at Glenbard West. He was like top 10. This was like 2000. He graduated in 2019. Man, he is doing, it's really proud to see the kid playing at Lehigh University, great school. You know what I mean? Then we got another kid, Samon J. Henderson, playing at Jacksonville. He played at Downers Grove South. So, the Illinois Heat program is doing what it's supposed to be doing, helping kids get in school. So
Okay, so let's go maybe more in game here, obviously with the After Timeout podcast. So we do like a timeout question here. So you're in a game, you're right, you're in a battle. Maybe a kid's not playing well, or somebody's locked him up, right? They did a great job defensively, and he's frustrated. What are some things you do as a coach to kind of get that kid refocused, remotivate them to get back going in the game?
timeout. We down. We losing.
Yeah, you're losing. You got a kid who thinks he
My
should be
best
doing
player not giving me anything.
right. Yeah,
Love
he's
it.
not giving you nothing.
My best player not giving me nothing. Man, I'm cussing him out all the way through the. Man, I'm letting him have it. Man, I'm gonna give him everything that he's supposed to have. You know, I'm I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, man. I'm gonna let him have it. What are you doing? I'm gonna sit him down. I'm gonna sit him down, and I'm just gonna be looking at him. And I'm gonna tell him after you let him have it and get on him a little bit, then you got to tell him what to do to get himself going, because every game is different. I'm gonna tell him, hey, all right, man, look, your shot not falling. Get to the basket, get fouled, make a free throw, then you're gonna get going. Or you missing some layups. Relax, take your time, take a deep breath. So you got to read your kid. You got to know your kid. You know, I'm gonna share this one with you, man. Last year we playing Crane in the regional championship. It was a rematch from the conference championship, and halftime, man, we just playing bad. And at halftime, I'm looking around. I'm like, man, somebody not playing. I'm looking. My guard. I got the. God damn it, you know better, and you supposed to do this. And in the heat of the game going back and forth. It's the fourth quarter, early fourth quarter, and I called timeout. And I got me some water. I looked. I said, "Hey, fellas," they looking at me, and we playing. It's a close game. They looking at me. I said, "Hey, what do y'all want to run? What offense do you run? What can we run to?" And they looked at me. I said, "You know what? Fuck the offense. This press and go crazy. If you got the ball, kill your man. Don't worry about no ball screen. Go get a bucket." And they look, yeah, they just got to screaming. And I looked up there, I said, Lord, I hope this works. I just let my kids, I just let them go. You know what I mean? And they went out there and played like some reckless abandons. And sometimes it could be the coach. It could be me over coaching. You know? So I said, man, I said, you know what? Man, forget these plays. Don't worry about no plays. Forget the plays. You get the ball, get a bucket. And when we in our we call our full court man 40. And we 40 hard. That's what happened, man. So sometimes in timeouts, you gotta be ready to adjust and do things on the fly. And with that team last year, I just had to let them go. That one game, they didn't need me. I was in their way, so I got up there and let them play.
So we always end with a fun top five. So we're thinking about the last 20 or so years in CPS basketball. We want to know the Coach Terry Head top five CPS teams that he saw play in the 2000s and 2010. So in the last 20 years, your top five CPS teams.
I don't have to put my team in there.
You do not. You can, but you do not.
I can't. I do not. Okay. Wow, man. CPS top from 2010 to
We can even go back to all the way to 2000 if you want. Let's go
2000. That's 20 years.
Yeah.
Man, okay. That Whitney Young team with with Quentin Richardson, is that 2000? Mm-hmm. That team was cold. So I would say Whitney Young. I'm not giving a number. I'll just say call up the teams.
That's fine.
Whitney Young team. Westinghouse. What the year Chris had Westinghouse with Dave Bailey and them guys.
Mm-hmm.
Was that 2000?
It was after 2000 for sure. I don't know what
year. Was that? Did you ever see them kids play?
I do remember them playing. Yes.
They had they had no size on the team. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
Their tallest player was Sid Banks at 6'2". And they was 32-0 or something like that. So that team was amazing. Ronnie Fields and Kevin Garnett. Did you see that team?
We knew that was going to be one of them.
Yeah.
Man, oh my! Look, I was sitting baseline. I was coaching. Was I coaching grammar school ball at that time? I can't remember. Yeah, I was a high school coach at the time. I was coaching at Frederick Douglass, and I'm watching. I would travel and watch. I would travel and watch all the Red West games. You know, if Farragut was playing, I'm like, I gotta go watch Farragut and Whitney Young. It's gonna be a great game. I'm sitting on the end of the bench, by the bleachers, end of the bench. Ronnie Field catches the ball on the baseline in the corner of the basket on the court. Takes 2-3 dribbles and dunks the ball with his shoulders facing the rim. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
He's on the baseline. He's on the bench, baseline corner. Catches the ball, take 2 dribbles, bink, bink, another dribble, 3. In traffic, dunks the ball, 2 hands facing the basket. Who the hell does that? I said, man, that dude was great. So Whitney Young with Quentin Richardson, Weston House, with them Daily Boys, Sid Banks, Ronnie Fields, Kevin Garnett, gotta say that 2010 Michele Clark team, them dudes Foreman kids was some killers. Todd, did you ever see them? Man,
Yeah.
oh my, coaching them 3 amigos, man, please. And then you got Eddie Denard, the Warrior. Man, oh my God. Them boys, I love them boys. Hey, all I can say about the Foreman kids in 2010, Coach Head was out there. I was letting them hoop. And I'm like, man, because they had played with us since 7th grade. Coach Carlos had found that we put that team together in 7th grade. So they had been playing together for 7 years, 6 years, something like that. Man, senior year, man, and Tommy Wood, you told me, said, Coach Head, we got this, man. I said, I got you. I'll sit down. Coach, pass one on water. I'm gonna sit and watch this show. Them boys could hoop. Love that team. My last team, man, I gotta try to find somebody that's really like that. I mean, it's a toss-up because I like that Curie team with Cliff Alexander. That was a good team, but you gotta look at it. The kids now don't play like them guys played, 10 years ago. So I'm not really. I'd be like, okay, my last team from 20 till now, who I enjoy watching. Now, I'm gonna go this one, man. This was an awesome team. Lou Thorpe team at North Lawndale.
Oh yeah.
When he had the left hand boy when they won state.
Yeah.
And what was that?
I'm gonna say that was probably 2007, 8, 9, somewhere.
Yes, you remember them guys?
Yeah.
Oh my! They had Terry Johnson, John. I can't remember the boy name. John Harris on their team, and then the left hand boy who got shot and killed. He was on that team, and Big Paul George, and then his son Lewis Thorpe into that team. That team was tough.
I think that was the time. Didn't they go downstate a few years in a row there?
Yes. Man, Lou Thorpe was a master at Lou Thorpe was a master at changing defenses in possession. You understand what I'm saying? He could be in a diamond trap, and then it'll turn into a 1-3-1, and they can match up at the same time. And he purposely taught that. It's amazing, Those are my top 5 teams, man.
We love it. Well, Coach, we appreciated this. We were very excited to have you on as a guest. We were going through CPS coaches, and we're like, who would be a great episode? And your name came up across the board. So we appreciate you joining us today. This was a great last hour. So
I'm so, like I said, I want to can I give a couple of shout outs? I got to do these.
Please.
I'm going to tell you guys, thank you so much for having me on. I really this is like my 3rd time doing this, and I didn't know how great it felt to do it, because you get an opportunity to share some of your ideas and values, and it feels good to talk about what you've done when you don't, because when you're doing it, you don't know you're doing it until it's over with, you know? And the shout out I want to give out to is my principal, Mr. Charles Anderson, and my athletic director, Mr. Kevin Simmons, for giving me the opportunity to come and bring me back into CPS and coach basketball and something I love to do. My family, man, my sister, Tasha, my brother, Dion, man, I love my brother, my sister to death. You know, my mom passed away, and we all we got, and that's all we talk about. Man, my two kids, Terry and Levon, man, they support me in everything I do. My two grandbabies, I thank them for giving me two grandbabies, because they, that give me some more motivation to keep going, you know. My wife, Lucretia, man, my wife is amazing. She got to put up with me, and now basketball, you know what I mean? And then, you know what I'm saying? It's just, without them, man, that's my support system. So my family, it feels good, you know. And thank you again, guys, for letting me do this. I really appreciate it, because, you know, basketball is a thankless job. So you don't really know you're doing anything good until somebody actually tell you sometimes. I just try to keep working and keep going, you know.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of the After the Timeout podcast. For more information and upcoming episodes, follow us on Twitter at After the Timeout, or subscribe to our podcast for upcoming episodes. You can find all of our episodes on Anchor.fm, Spotify, Overcast, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts by searching After the Timeout. Thank you for listening.